In this video, we're going to talk about how you lower your Chapter 13 plan payment. So stay tuned, bankruptcy bailout buddies. Welcome, debtors and borrowers, to Bankruptcy Bailout, because debt ruins lives, not bankruptcy. My name is Matt Burkus, Colorado bankruptcy and debt relief attorney, and today we're going to answer the question, well, how do you lower or reduce your Chapter 13 plan payment? So let's set the context here for a second. Chapter 13 is a monthly payment plan that lasts for 60 months. The goal of the plan is to pay back a portion of what you owe based on how much you can actually afford to pay, not how much money you owe your creditors. But the Chapter 13 plan is 60 months long. So what happens if during the plan at some point your situation changes and you can no longer afford the payment that you had been making? All right. So at this point in the plan, you've gone through the initial phase of getting your Chapter 13 plan approved. So you've been making your monthly payment, let's just say it's $500 a month, and now you're sometime in month 24 or 36 or whatever, and something's changed or something happens and you can't afford it anymore. So how do you go about changing it? Well, there's two different scenarios. There's short-term and long-term. Now, most Chapter 13s, there really is no solution for a short-term problem, because once you fall 2 months behind on payments, your Chapter 13 trustee is going to file a motion to dismiss your case. However, most Chapter 13 trustees will give you time to catch up if you can restart making the payment again and then pay a little extra each month to catch up. So that's how you deal with a short-term issue if you just happen to fall behind, a month or two, maybe 3, and you're able, and whatever the problem is, resolved itself and you're able to get back on track. You don't really have to do much there. Some districts will have you file or do an agreement with the Chapter 13 trustee. Other districts, like in Colorado, it's usually just an informal thing where so long as you start making your payments again and then can pay more to catch up, they'll usually let you do that. Now, the longer term issue is, what if something's changed? What if your income has gone down or you're unemployed or whatever? How do you actually go about lowering the payment? Well, as I stated, the first prerequisite is that there has to be a change in your circumstances from when your plan was originally approved. So it can't just be that, oh, you want to lower your payment because you think you're paying too much. There has to be a specific change that we can point to and say, look, this is what happened here, and that's why the payment needs to be lower. So usually it's some sort of reduction in income, or it could be an increase in expense, like maybe you had a child, or maybe you got married, or maybe you have to get a new car because yours broke down. Those could all be reasons for why you might need to lower or change your Chapter 13 payment. The process of doing so, however, is pretty involved, because what you have to do is get back with your attorney and file what's called a modified plan. So basically, you're updating the bankruptcy. So you're going to amend or modify the actual Chapter 13 plan itself. So you're going to say, okay, here's what I'm going to pay going forward. Then you have to do a motion to the court to modify the plan. So in that motion is where you explain where you are in the case, why you need it modified, and what are the changes being made to the Chapter 13 plan. And of course, that's got to get sent out to everybody. So you do a notice of motion that gets sent out to all your creditors and to the trustee. And you'll probably also have to do an amended Schedule I and amended Schedule J. Schedule I is your schedule of income that says here's how much money you make, and Schedule J is your schedule of expenses. So you'll have to update those schedules in order to show what the new payment is supposed to be and what the reason is that you need to file or to lower your payment. So there is a process to it. And to sum up, it has to be, you're going to do a new modified plan, or you're going to do a modified plan, you're going to file a motion, you're going to probably do amended schedules, and then all that gets sent out to everybody, and then they have, in my district, it's 3 weeks to object. And if someone objects, then you just have to sort through those issues based on the objection. So the whole process to modify a plan can take over a month or two, depending on what the situation is, what supporting documents you need, and what you need to do. So it's actually a pretty involved endeavor to lower the payments. That's why the situation or the underlying circumstances need to be something long-term and relatively permanent, because this is not something you can do on a month-to-month basis to tinker with the plan. You can't be filing modified plans every 3 months if, based on individual circumstances or based on minor things. It has to be something major and something we can anticipate. So that's how you lower the payment in a Chapter 13 plan, but there has to be a reason or a change in your circumstances in order to justify doing so. My name is Matt Burkus, Colorado Bankruptcy and Debt Relief Attorney. I represent individuals in Colorado and offer free phone consultations to the residents of Colorado for the purposes of bankruptcy. Best of luck to you.